they was able to win a game there, Muqbil. We all know how tough it is to win a game in the Olympics, this kind of level. And with the tremendous coach they have that won the Afrobeat basketball with them. And I think they have really, Nigeria women basketball team have a very good team. Overall, women have a very good talent in Africa more than men. That's the narrative.
That's been the story that's come out of the Olympics.
Yeah, that's the story. That every year they're representing us, you know, women, and they win Afrobeat. They go to World Cups. They go to many stuff. So it was a very tremendous to see a women basketball there representing the continent, and that part, like,
Yeah, Cheick. So just continuing on that point, right? So what do you think it meant symbolically to see the Tigresses make it all the way to the quarterfinals? As we mentioned, you know, they're the furthest team, any African team, men or women, to be able to get that far. And not only did they didn't give up. We watched that game against the U.S. They were down by 30 at one point, and they still pushed it. I believe they outscored the U.S. team 26-12 in the fourth quarter. You know, what does it mean for basketball on the continent? And do we see initiatives like we've seen the BAL for hers and such things on the continent move forward? Will this, you know, excite people to want to invest more in women basketball in Africa, do you think?
Absolutely. From what I saw in this Muqbil, the game of basketball evolving, not only Africa, everywhere. But Africa's adapting. Usually Africa really go with, you know, I'm not saying old, right? But
the age to catch up.
Yeah, the age is very. When we look at all the teams, we see they bring young bodies, right? That's what we saw with that team. Many players from that team was young, and of course they have veterans that have a lot of experience. But what I learned from this Muqbil, Africa's adapting, right? The basketball, as the world is evolving with basketball, you know, and I saw that with the head coach for that team. And she recruited young bodies, you know, that have very experience playing professional basketball or US NCAA basketball. And, you know, those are the pieces you want to go with. And the future is bright because this is something just, you know, we mentioned Ball was trying to have a way to include women in there. And they just haven't found the map because of some cultural background. And if, you know, you cannot write a check, you cannot cash, that kind of deal. You don't want to start a league and there's no woman to be found. That's the only reason why they're not having a team right now. They're building it, and with the help of Ball for Her, they have piled up with so many Africans that play in an NBA, women NBA, and bring them together to figure out a plan how they can start this, because once it started, there's no turning back. You know, so that's the decision they have right now. But it looked good for the Africa basketball, especially women's side, you know.
Speaking of that, how do we go about challenging some of these cultural beliefs that suppress women participation? Because clearly there's a market for it, clearly there's the talent for it. How do we make sure that we empower more young women to step onto the stage so that we can next time go further and maybe medal? Yeah,
I think it's all, Africa have it, for sure. You know, we all know how the women NBA and NBA is, the differences in the culture and money and pay and everything, equal pay and everything. But Africa really have young people, right? The demographic of the continent, everybody know, is more young than older people. It's different than here. So anything when you're trying to do things with anything, it's not only basketball, but, you know, economy-wise, the youngest group of people in the area, the better is the chance, you know, for anything. So demographically, I think Africa is really, majority is young in the youth, and they're very talented, they're very athletic. And we saw it with the Sudanese team that we're gonna get to. And the Nigerian team showed that to me. And they have a brilliant coach, you know, a woman coach that understands women basketball more than anybody. And I don't think there can be any better person to choose to do that. And not only Nigeria, there's many countries in Africa that have produced big stars, you know, Senegal, Mali, you know, all those countries are coming, you know, so it's there. The youth is there and the talent is there. It's just for Africa to connect it, because this Olympic showed that anybody from the world can be participating.